The Eagles-Colts held joint practice today, or should I say, the Eagles-Colts had a complete melee today as Jonathan Taylor sat back after receiving permission to seek a trade, and he got to see what it would be like to play with the Eagles. A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Jalen Hurts impressed him. Still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So the Eagles and the Colts had a joint practice today, if that's what we could call it, after both sidelines emptied in a full melee to end practice after Jason Kelce lays out Zaire Franklin after a late hit on Kenneth Gainwell. It was one of those kind of practices. So much things went down. What a way to end the last training camp practice for the Eagles. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. It truly, truly means a lot. Now, this was one hell of a practice. We seem to have a ton of things going on. And if we get what we got in today's practice in the last preseason game, it may be worth watching, I got to tell you. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk a second about Jonathan Taylor, okay? Because as many of you guys know, Jonathan Taylor has gotten permission to seek a trade by the Colts. He's allowed to find a place to go. And you know what? He's in Philly right now with the Indianapolis Colts. He's not practicing today. He's in street clothes. However, if for some reason, and I'm not saying that this is happening or could possibly happen, but if for some reason the Eagles were serious or were looking to possibly trade for him, they have the great opportunity here. He's in Philly. He's practicing. His team's practicing with the Eagles. He knows Nick Sirianni very well. And this would be a great opportunity for the Eagles to get a jump on this if they were really interested. If you remember, the Eagles talked about when they got Jay Ajayi in 2017, one of the big factors and reasons why they pulled the trigger was the ability to get to talk to him at the joint practices that they had with Miami. So this is a perfect opportunity. Now, do the Eagles want to go out and trade for Jonathan Taylor? I don't know. I don't know. I think the Eagles would do it if it was cheap or if he would play just for 1 year. But I think the problem with a Jonathan Taylor to Philly trade is that Jonathan Taylor wants a new contract. So he would have to get big, big money. And I'm not sure the Eagles want to pay any running back that kind of money. So I think that would be the problem and why it wouldn't happen. However, I'm just saying, if the Eagles want to get ahead of other teams and jump on this, they have a golden opportunity with the Colts in town practicing with them, and the relationship with Jonathan Taylor and Nick Sirianni and Steichen and Sirianni. So you never know. It's just something to keep in the back of your heads. Now, as far as the injury report goes, here's what we have today. Will not practice. Britton Covey, hamstring again. Kyron Johnson, appendectomy. Moro Ojomo, concussion. Hassan Reddick, thumb. Nolan Smith, shoulder. Greg Ward, ankle. And Quez Watkins is upgraded to limited. So he's limited now. Oh, great. Man, that really, like, that bothers me with... It really bothers me with Quez Watkins this preseason, man. I really wanted to see something with him. I really, really did, you know. So as the Eagles came out, as they were practicing, and I want to talk a little bit about the defense first. First thing that we noticed was Justin Evans is still getting first-team reps. He's still getting first-team reps at safety. I'm not saying he's going to be the starter, but I think there is a legitimate battle for the starting safeties going on. And I think it's really down between two guys, maybe three, Evans, Wallace, and Sidney Brown. But Justin Evans started getting first-team reps first, and then Sidney Brown, second series, got first-team reps. And let me tell you, Sidney Brown did not mess around. He comes right out, gets a pass breakup, then he destroys, and I mean, they said he knocked the soul out of the receiver for the Colts on one play. They said if it was, and this was in the red zone, he knocked him into next week, okay? And they said that it probably would have been a penalty on Sidney Brown for hitting a defenseless receiver in a real game, but nonetheless, I like the way this guy is going out there, and then I like the way he, he fights. He hits. He protects the ball. He gets turnovers. He's a fighter, man. He is fighting for a starting job as a rookie, and I'm rooting for the kid to get it. But what a way for Sidney Brown to make his presence felt, especially when he didn't start out getting first-team reps, okay? I believe at the end of the day, when we get to week 1, I believe Sidney Brown is going to be starting. I definitely do. Also, we got to talk about Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter on one play got a sack on Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, I guess, was doing a play action, looked, boom, turn around, and there's Jalen Carter right on him. So that would have been a sack in a game. And then there was another play in which Jalen Carter actually stripped the ball from Anthony Richardson, which led to the offensive lineman of the Colts pushing him, which led to, of course, if you're going to have a fight, if you're going to have a scrum, it's got to bring Derek Barnett. And in comes Derek Barnett taking a fighter stance. He's ready to go. The guy is so bad that I'm starting to like him. You know what I mean? Like, if this was a hockey team, if this was a legitimate hockey team, he would be like the enforcer. You would love him if this was a hockey team that had an enforcer. Too bad he stinks at everything else. That's always the big problem with him. But Derek Barnett doing what he did. But once again, Jalen Carter is dominant, and this is what we get. I mean, we get this is like an everyday thing. He gets something every day. In terms of sacks, pressures, driving offensive linemen nuts. This kid is going to be a force, okay? Now, offensively, one of the things that we heard today was that the Colts defensive line could not do anything. Jalen Hurts had all day to come out and throw, and he made some good throws. There were a couple bad throws. He had a couple. He missed Goddard on a touchdown that was wide open. He should have hit him. He hit A.J. Brown on another touchdown. But it was DeVonta Smith. It was DeVonta Smith that had the catch of camp. Maybe not one catch of camp, but maybe 2 catches. He made unbelievable catches today that were absolutely ridiculous. This is what Ed Kratz said about it, and I wish I could show you the highlights of it, but the Eagles won't let them film this portion of practice. But this is what Ed Kratz said. Maybe the catch of camp from DeVonta Smith down right sideline with right coverage. He goes up, looks like he's in the skywalking, then comes down after a slight bobble, ruled a catch. Smith then comes right back and makes a shoulder touchdown catch. Colts, Darrell Baker victimized both times. And they said that both of those catches were unbelievable catches by DeVonta Smith. And this is what we've heard about DeVonta Smith. Ever since he came into the league. The kid is a stud. He has great hands. This is why I don't understand Madden. I'm trying to play Madden 24. DeVonta Smith is dropping passes. He drops open slant routes, and I had him open over the middle for 15 yards sitting there, and he drops it. That would never happen. I think he had 4 drops in a game I played the other night. That's absolutely ridiculous. They better get their act together, because that ain't the way it is. DeVonta Smith is an absolute stud, and he's proven it, So DeVonta Smith catches of camp. That's what they said, and then, as practice is winding down, and I should say it was getting chippy, when Derek Barnett tried to get into it after the Jalen Carter situation. Then, you know, you started to hear there's a lot of talking and yapping back and forth. Jason Kelce and Zaire Franklin were yapping quite a few times, and then it led up to this, okay? Kenneth Gainwell out of backfield catches a ball. Zaire Franklin gives him an extra pop, you know, at the end of the play. Kelce, Zaire Franklin are basically going at it, jawing. And then on the following play, Jason Kelce lays out Zaire Franklin at the end of the play. I mean, he blindsided him, they said. And then, boom, the benches, they just clear. They totally clear, and the melee ensues. And they were all going at it, a lot of talking, that both teams had to be separated. And then they decided at which point it was time to end practice. And that's how practice ended today, with a melee. You got to love it. You got to love Kelce. He's protecting Gainwell. That's exactly what he's doing. So I have no issue with it. I don't even have issue with Derek Barnett being Derek Barnett today. You know, he's so bad, I'm kind of like him. I'm starting to like him. He's so bad. But at least he protects his players and his teammates. I can respect that. So a lot of good things for the Eagles today. It sounded like really like the stars were the stars, and that's what you were getting. A.J. Brown looked fantastic. DeVonta Smith looked absolutely fantastic. And when we get to the preseason finale on Thursday, we're not going to see any of them. We're not going to see the first team. We're not going to see the second team. We're probably going to see the third team start and then finish by, I don't even know if you can call them a fourth team, because a lot of those guys probably will definitely not be with this team by the weekend. It's just the way it is. That's why they had so many signings the other day. A lot of them were just to get through the final preseason game. Now, this is really the last open public practice of training camp, because tomorrow the Eagles have a closed walkthrough. Thursday we have the game, and then we go on to cutting this roster and getting it down to 53. So there's going to be a lot of crazy movement. The question's going to be, will there be a trade? Will something happen with Howie Roseman? I'm going to say yes. There will be some sort of trade. I don't know how big it is. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think Howie Roseman will do something. Will it be Jonathan Taylor? I don't think so. And I think the holdup with the only way I could see it working with Jonathan Taylor here is if Jonathan Taylor was willing to go to Philly just to play on one-year deal. And he had to go and watch DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown and Hurts today. He has to know how good this offensive line is, watching the fact that his defensive line unit for the Colts could not get any pressure. So maybe he would do it. I don't know. If the Eagles acquired him, that would be an unbelievable deal. Now, what would I give to him? Give for him no more than a fourth. I'm not giving up. Maybe a late third, maybe a third at most, but I'd have to have him multiple years. So maybe a fourth at the most. Really, I'm not giving up a first. I'm not giving up one of my 2 seconds. I think DeAndre Swift and Gainwell, I think those guys will be fine if need be. But that's it. Training camp is pretty much done. We are shifting to Thursday night preseason game and then get the rosters cut. I want to thank everybody who was with me for all these training camp videos and when I could do live streams. We go into regular season mode after Thursday, and it's going to be absolutely fun. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat, and remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So I've been playing a little bit of Madden 24. Somebody gave me the code, so I've been playing a little bit, trying to, knock off the rust and get my skills up a little bit before I jump online. But I got to tell you, I read somewhere that they've left 60 features out of Madden 24 that used to be in the game at one point or the other. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And to see, watch DeVonta Smith drop balls. He dropped 3 balls in a game I played against Tampa Bay yesterday, wide open. That's never going to happen. Never going to happen. But it is what it is. Denzel Washington out.